What's good with y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Responing with another video for y'all today. And so I got a lot of backlash, I guess I would say, on one of my most recent videos about Brock Lesnar breaking the streak of The Undertaker, one of the greatest streaks of all time, the greatest thing in WWE history of all time. Said this like 1,000 times in that video, but I didn't want to go over the comments that people left. So I figured, why not do it today? Let's go over one by one because, I mean, best way to do it. There was only like 5-6 comments, but I did want to kind of go over them and interact with you guys who all responded to it. So I feel like I should respond back to it. The first one pretty much said, and the video was about me thinking that Brock Lesnar shouldn't have broke it. So I think they're pretty much saying the streak should have never been broken. But the first comment's pretty much saying, not that Brock broke it, but the story wasn't good enough. That was commented by Eric Johnson 6672. I completely agree with that. I don't think the story was good enough for it to be put together. I think it was kind of rushed, but at the same time, Vince McMahon was running the show, and not really much you can do when he's got stuff flying around in his head, not knowing what to do with the stories being told. So I guess that's completely understandable from that standpoint, and I really truly believe that. The story really wasn't behind it much. There wasn't, in my opinion, much story behind it for us to get, I guess, deep within it or feeling it behind it. So I really do agree with that. So the next one is, it's like a little goofy comment. I think it's H3CZ _. He pretty much said, or she, and I skipped WWE 2K17 because Brock was on the cover. Don't like that guy either. And that pretty much stems back from the video from when I said I'm not the biggest fan of Brock Lesnar. I'm not. I've never have been. I never will be. I said it in like 2 straight videos. I think he's probably the most overrated wrestler of all time. His gimmick is pretty bland. They build him up to be the monster. I get it, but he was already a monster. So it's kind of like, give me something different. The guy that's unbeatable. He's supposed to be like this final boss, last stand type of guy that's just unbeatable. So I just felt like his character was kind of bland. He never talked. This is the Paul Heyman era. So he never talked. He never did anything outstanding. So that's why I felt, that's what my standpoint is when I say I never cared for his character, because he never really had much of a character. He was just some big swole beast who comes out, suplex you, hit you with an F5, and he's out of there. That's one of my biggest reasons I didn't ever care for Brock. Number 3. And some of these I'm gonna have to go back on just to make sure I got them for y'all because they have to be answered. Number 3 is pretty much saying, okay, so clearly that's not number 3 at all. It's so many of them that I got, and it's kind of terrifying that I don't have them all here. I'm gonna edit this out the video for y'all. So I pretty much got another comment, obviously. It's one of my most commented videos, but the title of my video is pretty much worst decision in WWE history, and Cam Fisher 1714 pretty much said it really wasn't, LOL. Everybody's opinion is different. I personally think it was the stupidest decision of all time in WWE history. It was unnecessary, and if you were gonna do it, could have been somebody else, but I'm gonna get to that in a minute actually. So I personally think it was just dumb. Here's another one. This is pretty long. This is not no fault you guy. I don't know how to pronounce that. I didn't get why you guys are hating Brock, man. He is the most dominant and powerful, strongest guy in WWE history, and he is the only one that can beat The Undertaker. Plus, Undertaker was concussed during. That, I forgot to mention in my video. The Undertaker was concussed during the match, so that's on my part. My bad for forgetting to acknowledge that part. That's my fault. And it do not make sense that a concussed megastar can defeat a monster. Then, too, when Brock was dominating force of WWE, though they didn't capitalize on Brock later and move to Reigns, instead never think that the Beast is a guy who can go off script and still be in a job no matter what he do. The last part kind of confused me. I'm pretty sure he's essentially saying Brock's a megastar or a star and he can kind of do what he wants. I'm assuming that's what he's saying. It's a little confusing trying to read this. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm gonna put it on the screen so y'all can see this too, but this is a really long message. He's clearly a big time Brock fan. Again, my thing was with it is Brock shouldn't have won the match in general. He shouldn't have been in the match. They should have found somebody else to do it, and that's my biggest flaw with this entire match. The Undertaker shouldn't have lost to Brock. That's my biggest point with this whole thing. But the part where the Undertaker was concussed, he was concussed throughout the match, so it kind of derailed the rest of the match, in my opinion. So That's true. I completely agree with the fact that he was concussed. It kind of killed the vibe of the match, and we never really got the full Undertaker versus Brock that we wanted. It's facts, man. It is what it is. Brock no longer being involved with WWE makes the Taker's losing streak decision. It makes the Taker's losing decision age like milk. Straight dog crap. This one, I kind of agree with, but at the same time, I don't kind of agree with because I don't feel like the Undertaker, not really Undertaker, but Brock being there kind of affects the fact that he still lost. Even if Brock was still there, I mean, it's still in WWE's history regardless, so I don't really understand, nor I, I can't really agree with this, man. I can't, because if Brock was still there, he still would have did it. And be the fact that he isn't there, he still did it. Like, we're gonna forever remember the Undertaker streak ending at a WrestleMania. What was that, 28? I think it was. So, or one of them, I don't know, WrestleMania 30 or whatever. The fact is, we're all forever gonna remember the Undertaker streak ending. And whether it was Brock, John Cena, Roman Reigns, anybody, we're gonna forever remember that. So that one I don't agree with. Here's another one, a long one, and I responded to this one, but it says, fans don't get it. Brock Lesnar ending the Undertaker streak made him the most dominant wrestler for several years. Brock would then put over many wrestlers like Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, etc., and put them over other wrestlers for wrestling him, like Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan. If y'all want newer wrestlers to get pushed, you got to sacrifice legends to do so. Now, this is the one particular comment I wanted to get to, because I agree with it. I agree with it to a certain extent, and I completely agree with the fact that the Undertaker had to lose to get a new star built. But the problem with this specific thing is Brock was already built. It's not like he was just some random guy walking through the door and saying, "Oh, I'm just some new guy. I need to get my star power up, blah, 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 all this good stuff." Brock Lesnar was already Brock Lesnar. He was Brock Lesnar back in 2002. He's Brock Lesnar in 2024, whether he's here or not. He's still Brock Lesnar. And whatever year this WrestleMania was, I can't remember. He's still Brock Lesnar. So the comment here, I get it. I completely understand, and I'm with it. Everything he said here about Brock winning, beating the Undertaker, and now Brock able to put everybody over. If Brock never won that match, he would still be able to put over the young talent, whether it's AJ, whether it's whether it's Bobby Lashley and McIntyre and all the other guys he said. Roman Reigns, like he put over all these people, but he didn't have to beat the Undertaker to put over all these people. That's why I disagree with that completely, because it's just not necessary. The streak didn't have to end. If the streak was going to end, the streak should have ended to a younger up-and-coming talent, and not Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was already established, I believe, at that time. You could have went to somebody like, I was going to say Daniel Bryan, but that's the night he won the title. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but anybody that night, young star, who could have used that elevational push, because that would have took them to the next level. So that's my biggest disagreement with that comment right there. But everything else, I completely agree with the spot on. Somebody, Undertaker streak had to be sacrificed so we can get next talent to be pushed here. I agree with that, but it didn't have to be Brock. That's my biggest thing. And I pretty much responded to it. I said, but he was already being pushed as his dominant monster, pretty much what I just said. So I just didn't see why it needed to end. If it wasn't, then I would completely understand. So in other words, pretty much what I just said, honestly. And here's the last comment on this one. I'll never understand this as well. Pretty much what I said. Then they let the same BS happen to him again through Roman Reigns a few years later. To me, Taker was the greatest of all, and then Vince had to shame him by making him lose. But hey, if you work for the Triangle people, then at some point they have to shame you, which is the price for turning into a star. I could believe it if it was Vince. Like New Jack said, Vince is a piece of garbage. And I completely agree with this to a certain extent. The Roman part, like I said, Undertaker had already lost. So Roman beating him, it sucked, but it didn't suck because it's like he already lost. So the illusion of the WrestleMania streak was over at that point. So Roman coming in, beating him, and it was a decent match, but it was whatever. But the Undertaker losing to Roman doesn't hurt as bad and didn't feel as bad as him losing to Brock. Brock beating him was like, eh. So yeah, man, it's hard to talk about this situation, but yeah, man, I mean, I completely agree. Like I said, to a certain extent, Vince is also a piece of garbage. Like, let's just keep it real. But the rest of the statement, like you said, Roman beating him, I think Roman should have won at that point, because that's putting Roman over, even though Roman was already one of Vince's top guys. Never made sense to me, but the point is, the Undertaker lost to Brock, and I guess that helped Brock become this guy who can put up other people. In my opinion, Brock didn't need that. Brock could have put anybody over, so that is what it is, man. I'm gonna sit here and see if I can find more comments. I pretty much responded and said, yeah, man, to this day, I would never fully understand the idiocy behind the decision. It was the worst move in WWE history, and nothing would change that. It never come close. Yeah. Now, I wish I can go back and change this, but it's pretty much saying, I wish I can go back and change it, pretty much say that if it was involving a younger talent, putting him over, and then Undertaker keep losing like that, at that point, that's just for illusion. But it is what it is. I don't think there's any more comments to this, honestly. I mean, something I haven't responded to. Pretty much the one that said it really wasn't. But yeah, it's your boy Wrestling Geek. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all for watching this video. Appreciate y'all for watching everything, liking and sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Appreciate y'all. Can't wait to see y'all in the next video. But I just had to get this video off my chest. I've been thinking about it all day. So I'm glad I got it done, and I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to share, comment, like, subscribe, or share, like, comment, subscribe. Whichever way you want to put it, do it for you.